In our practice it problem here, make sure you read it before we attempt it, and now that you've assumingly read it, let's attempt it. So we want to write a method, it's called append, and it accepts two integer arrays as parameters and returns a new array that contains the result of the two added together. So we want to append the second list to the first list like this. Well, to do that, remember, we're returning a new array, right? It returns a new array. So what we're going to do first is make the new array. Simple. Inside of here, we're going to have int arr is equal to a new int, and inside of here, we want the length. And the length, since we just have the two together, is going to be both of them added together. So list1 dot length and list2 dot length. And we can end this line. So that's going to make our new array. Now, let's add list1 to the new array. So for list1, this is easily done by using a for loop. We're starting at index, well, when we go through list1, we know we start at index 0, right? When we go through list2, we start at index 0. But when we add list2 into here, we are not going to be starting at index 0. So we're going to actually need a counter for the second for loop. And this will become a little bit more clear in a second. We're going to say int counter is equal to 0, like this. This is really so that we have a starting point for the second one right here. So int a is equal to 0, and we're going to run this as long as our a is less than our list1.length, because we want to put our entire list1 into here. That's all we're doing. So we're going to have arr, right, and then we can have a inside of here be equal to our list, and then we are going to pass in a right here. So essentially what we're saying is our array at the specific index we have right here is going to be equal to our list1 at this index, so the element at that index. So we're putting that index in there. And then we just have to increment this counter every single time so that when we get to our next for loop, we'll have somewhere to start. So inside of here, we are going to do add list2 to new array. We'll have a for loop, int a is equal to 0, and then we're going to run this as long as our a is less than our list2.length. And then we're going to have a++. So inside of here, it's going to be very similar to what we have here, right? The only difference is instead of using a for here, remember, the index right here, it's changed. It's down the line, and that's why we use this counter. So we have array counter is equal to list2 at this 8th index. We can close off this for loop. We can return our arr. That's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and submit. And we passed 6 out of 6 tests. So that's how we would code for this practice it problem.